delicious beverage?
Duh.
Preparing students to demonstrate mastery of math state standards can feel like a dull, unending cycle of equations and practice problems. Unengaged, frustrated students can weigh on teacher confidence and lead to uncertainty about overall achievement. Two Ivy League-trained engineers observed this struggle and created a way to transform how students learn the fundamentals of math. Through the innovative Accoletics math program, EDA has helped more than 400,000 students achieve success on state-administered math tests and transformed the academic strategies and performance of schools nationwide. Accoletics' uniquely designed supplemental materials and tools are well aligned to your state standards and provide a clear path to exceed state proficiency standards. Through ongoing professional development, you will uncover common challenges and activate solutions that promise to improve student achievement in your school. By partnering with EDA and choosing Accoletics, you can start to see an unprecedented return on your investment in as little as one school year. Don't procrastinate on giving your teachers the tools to help students achieve their highest math potential. To learn how you can dramatically improve classroom instruction and learning, test scores, and student confidence, call, email, or visit Accoletics online today.
When daily tasks become too painful, it's time for change. Let our pain management and wellness practice, Valentine Integrative Health, elevate your quality of life and ease your discomfort. Visit us at valentineintegrativehealth.com and start your journey to a fuller life.
And welcome to the show, the Allison and Marc podcast, Married in Media. And who are we?
Okay, well, we are just two Gen X media pros who've been doing this thing for like 30 years, happen to have 3 grown kids. And right here, we talk about everything from politics. We got to talk a little bit of politics today because we had an upset here in Maryland. I don't know. Was it an upset? Okay, we'll talk about it. A little history. But anyway, whatever we talk about, the basis is a whole lot of love. Because did I say we've been married 24 years?
We've been married for 24 years. The basis is a whole bunch of love. Today, we're a little scattered. We got a lot of, the good news is there's a lot of stories. And I didn't get a chance to get down here and really load them up. But, there's a lot of good stories out there.
I'm going to have to find a new producer. So just letting you know, if you would like to produce the Allison and Marc podcast.
No.
We are for volunteers. We're taking volunteers.
We're keeping the budget tight. Well, this story is interesting. I just saw my oldest, Sydney. And I was just thinking, when you talk to younger people about like the stories that go on, it's interesting because it's definitely a different age. The story I'm talking about is, I don't know if you guys know this story. It's actually in Maryland, right? The teacher who was letting his students unbraid his hair. And this thing turned into, this turned into quite a story. So we have, I think I might have a little video here. Let's see if I can get my little thing.
Send all job inquiries to Market. I am media.
Here we go. All right. Let's share and see.
All right, here we go.
That is torn.
The internet is torn.
there has to be a line drawn.
I personally didn't see anything wrong with it.
What would you do if a school teacher let your child get the rat tail comb and take out their braids at school?
It gets taken out of context.
This teacher in the DMV that says his students are his besties has millions of people talking.
They see me as a big brother or father figure, as some of them say.
Parents in PG County are stepping into the shade room.
This is not the appropriate place or time.
Mixed reaction on what's appropriate and what's not in the classroom. And is this grounds for termination? The shade room just got an exclusive update from the school district who's clearing some things up about this teacher and his work status.
Some adults generally have a good heart.
I'm Justin Carter. This is TSR Investigates.
You get the gist of the story. And
wow. Weigh in. What do we think? First of all, Raymond, hi, I see you. Hey, Kevin. Yeah, so I guess it's for this, like they're just different groups, right? So you have educators out there who probably are like, we would never do this. This crosses the line. Then I'm sure you're going to have some people say it's no big deal. I'm just interested in hearing from the parents and the grandparents. Is this appropriate behavior? Sydney also said that basically this teacher's like, yeah, like we're besties. We email all the time. So is this a positive influence? And you see him crying in there, basically saying there's some good adults. Well, I'm not trying to do anything, but it's what we're doing here.
It's scary. It's scary times. And so everything is different. I remember I shared this story.
Well, what do you think about it? If the girls came home and said, yeah, I unbraided Mr. and you saw another young lady was painting his nails with the clear.
I get it. I mean, I get it.
As a parent, what would you do?
As a parent, I would just actually ask my kid's opinion. What's your take on him? Tell me everything. Tell me everything about
that would be what you would do before reacting at all.
What do you like about Mr. So-and-so? You guys spent a lot of time together. What's going on? Because I had instructors that were like this, and it was a different time. You know, I was thinking I had a coach. Nowadays, because of fear and all of the craziness that we kind of are aware of that maybe we didn't know about, I think we're all on 10 when it comes to stuff like this, right? And it's in a world where you have some kids don't connect at all. Some kids aren't connected with teachers at all. Some kids connect a lot. And then I think there's probably, when you connect a lot, there is a gray area with those kind of teachers. I remember we had a brand new coach who was, now you're older, you get it. I'm high school, I'm 16, 17. He probably was 27. You know, you're looking back, 26. And he actually became my workout partner for real. Like we worked out away from school.
How old were you?
Probably in high school, 17s.
Okay.
You know, 16, 17.
But he's your coach.
He's a coach.
Yeah.
Well, he's a teacher. So it's kind of the same thing. But, you know, coaches are almost more shaky than teachers. But anyway, I was looking back, thinking about it. I went to his house. We'd watch movies together. We worked out together. It was almost like, again, I look at it, I'm like, nowadays it definitely probably would have been like, you can't do that with kids. You can't do that.
Yeah.
So with this, I don't necessarily have a big issue with it, but I can understand how you could have a big issue with it.
But I just wonder from the school board,
you can't do
from
it.
The school, is it, you know? And so hopefully, I mean, he seems like a nice young man. Our friend Brandy is in the chat, and she says it's not like they're, you know, slow dancing or touching or close. It's just like a group, and they're doing this.
We don't touch anymore.
It also speaks though to roles in society, right? So these it looks like young ladies doing this.
Yeah.
You know, what message is that sending? It's a male teacher. Like what, you know, how does that look too? So Mary, if just joining us, we're talking about this viral video that's actually out of Maryland with this looks like a young male educator having some of his students like unbraid his hair and do other things like that. And he says that they're besties. So just talking about the appropriateness of it. So I'll be interested to see what happens. Take? Well, so I was just thinking about it. And if I saw this video and my child was in the video, I would say, I don't need you doing that. You're at school now, you know, have your friends or your age. If you want to, like, as we used to say, play in somebody's hair or take out their braids or do whatever else, do it with friends. Teachers are there to instruct. Now, if you have somebody that you're close to, that makes it all. That's what makes teachers great, like that personal connection. But I think there does need to be a line. I'm not saying he did anything wrong, but if my daughter came home, or if I saw my daughter in one of these videos, I would ask her not to be involved with that behavior.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, I get
So
it, and I
that's
get
what
it.
I'm saying.
I get both sides. I get it. I think again, it's different. I understand his side, from a standpoint of you see what he's trying to build there, but you just can't nowadays. You can't do it. You can't.
And Raymond has a good. Before we move on, Raymond, that's an excellent point, because it feels good when somebody's doing your hair. They're like in the culture, they're scratching your scalp, they're greasing the parts for the braids and all that, and it is like it's like a thing that that at a certain point you're just like, oh yeah, that feels good, like, and it's an innocent thing, but it's just a line that I feel like doesn't need to be crossed. So nothing against this teacher, he seems to be a young person trying to connect.
Yeah.
But if my kid was doing it, yeah. Bandy says posting it, that was wrong. I bet he wished that he had never done that.
But I think that's the irony of this kind
all
of situation.
this posting world that we live in,
where he probably posted it because he obviously, you wouldn't have posted it.
He didn't think something was wrong,
right?
And I get that.
Yeah.
And I get that. Speaking of posting,
yes,
I really wish we had this video. This was a group of fans. Did you all see this after the Anita Baker show? I guess Anita Baker canceled, and this group of women, whom they're calling aunties,
Anita Baker fans, what do they say?
Angry, and you could put in the term bald-headed, because basically it became like an Anita Baker bald-headed ass. We're out here. That's the one. They're out here, and you cancel it.
No, not our girl. Come on now.
Yeah. Right. So, what obligation does the fan? I mean, should somebody call her a bald-headed ass?
Don't be calling Anita Baker bald-headed, okay? That's
a bald-headed ass. Yeah. So
our elder legends are getting up there now. Have some respect, right?
Well, now these women are probably the same age. We're all the same age.
Well, she canceled 15 minutes
She
before the show.
canceled 15 minutes before the show, and fans understandably angry. But if you're a fan, do you call them a bald-head ass? Okay, so here it is. What do y'all think about this?
Are you a fan? Are you a fan if you call it?
Reason why I've canceled my doorbell camera subscription. This brand new subscription-free mini Wi-Fi
not a paying sponsor.
Provides.
Willie D Live.
What's up, family?
So he's gonna play.
Anita Baker was supposed to perform on Saturday at State Farm Arena in Atlanta.
Okay.
However, just 6 minutes before doors were to open.
Wow. Okay, so it's 6 minutes. Okay, so
Anita abruptly canceled her show, or at least.
All right. Well, we'll have to find the video.
It's coming up, I'm sure. So basically, these women are outside of the stadium, and they're just calling her out for it, but in a way that, is it disrespectful? If you pay your money to go see somebody and they cancel 6 minutes before the show, should you go online and do a video and call them a bald-headed ass?
No, because we know why. I mean, Anita Baker, she's a certain age. It could be a health situation.
Mm-hmm.
It could be a whole bunch of things.
Yeah,
right?
It could be.
It could be a whole bunch of things, but we have no idea what it is. But let's see if we can actually access it now, baby. Let's go.
All right, let's go.
Our producers in the back say they have access to it, so let's see if we can pull it up now. Let's try it now. Okay.
The bald-headed ass, they canceled the concert. I've been waiting for her since January, and her bald-headed ass canceled the concert. Look at us. We all standing out here ready, waiting, and her bald-headed ass canceled concert last minute. Piss, Anita.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay.
That's disrespectful.
Well, and again, not to go. These are just normal people going online, so they don't deserve the anger. But it's just interesting how much. Like if I were there, I'd be mad too. But I just don't know that I would if I'm a fan.
Because we raised a certain way. Well,
surely these young ladies are raised a certain way.
Were they? I don't know. Are you? You don't have any compassion for Anita Baker, all the great music she's given us?
Supposedly, though, she's been doing this. Well, a group of fans sued or were trying to sue Madonna because she was like 2 hours late to a concert. So I don't know.
Look at your brother Wallace. He with the fans.
Yeah.
Wallace, really? Wow.
Okay, Wallace, they need to call her a bald-headed ass.
Ain't she
She
bald-headed?
called her a bald-headed ass.
Is Anita
like
Baker
4 times.
bald-headed?
No, she just has a short haircut. So anyway, social media is getting out of control.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, babe, we know I want to see what's going on Instagram, because our Instagram fans say they cannot. We don't see their conversations with us.
Yeah.
So I'm checking to see if, in fact, we can.
In the meantime, did you happen to get the picture of Gayle King that I sent you? The Sports Illustrated.
Yeah, I have the picture.
Oh, okay. So I am just, ladies, can we talk for just a second? It's interesting because, society is weird. Like, especially in my business, you'll see often like older anchormen or reporters or whatever, and it just doesn't ever really seem to be an issue when men age on TV, and maybe women. I don't know. Do we take ourselves out of it, or I'm not sure. But anyway, I say that to say I'm just always so inspired by Gayle King, and I think before I started working at the Channel 9, the WUSA, the CBS affiliate in DC, like I liked Gayle, a lot, but now I see her every day. I see like the little teases that they send down before our show is over at 7 a.m. And when I saw that she was going to be one of the swimsuit models for Sports Illustrated, the swimsuit edition, and I saw her pictures, I was so excited for her, because Gayle is she 70?
I don't think she's 70.
And age is not. I'm bringing that up to just say she is a woman of a certain age.
A woman of a certain age.
And, the fact that she did this, and she said, I never thought, she actually said when they called, she thought she was being
pranked?
Yeah, she thought she was being pranked, but she just looks so amazing. So here's one of her pictures in Sports Illustrated.
Mm-hmm. Our producer is getting it together as we speak.
Yeah. Anyway, she looks gorgeous. And we are let me just find it for you. Sorry, y'all. This is not together, but yeah, I'm trying to see how old she is. I want to say, and this is, and like I said, it's not important, but I like it because she's a woman of a certain age. And so she just represents, she's 69 years old. And she's out here. Yeah, Gayle is 69 years old.
I didn't know she was 69 now. Wait a minute now, Gayle. Hold on now.
Yeah. And the confidence, like, I would not be able to do it. And I'm just,
why couldn't you do it? You're beautiful.
That is notwithstanding. That is how you feel. Like, do you feel confident to put your body out there in this world that we're living in today, when people can call Anita Baker a bald-headed ass? I wouldn't necessarily want to put myself out there, but she did it, and she looks amazing. And I mean, that's the world we're living in, right?
Oh, babe.
That's the world we're living in. So,
babe, you're wild.
Okay, here, I'm just going to show it. Can I just show it on TV? Here we go. Here she is. It's okay, babe.
Yeah,
here she is. This is one of the pictures here. My personal favorite picture is this yellow bathing suit that she has on right here. So let's give it up for Gayle King and women of a certain age. And I love that for her. She's actually killing the game.
Come on,
okay,
Gayle.
there she is. So anyway,
babe, you can do it. I want Allison Seymour. In Sports
right,
Illustrated
Brandy.
swimsuit.
You know what so don't worry about it, babe. So now Brandy's at the beach all the time. Either Brandy is still at the beach right now or just came back from the beach. And I'm with you. It's just, I don't know, like when I feel like I have a pretty good level of self-esteem, but still it's just something, maybe you compare yourself to your younger self, and that's why
don't do it,
that's
babe.
why you don't do it. But
your fine is wine.
Yeah.
Your fine is wine.
Uh-oh. Are we kirking all the way out?
I think I don't know if
don't worry about it.
I don't know if the people can see that.
Okay. Also today, as we get this together, I just want to also say that today, 36 years ago, I graduated from Hampton University.
What?
36 years ago. So shout out to all the graduates of the class of 2024. Yeah, just reminisce. May 15th, 1988 was my graduation day. And it kind of just seemed like just yesterday.
How'd you feel?
But I feel great. Like I feel super grateful for all of the years since. I really can't believe time has really flown like that. But it has. So shout out to all of the 80s college graduates. So JC Hayward.
It's time
So
for
that's
the
somebody.
JC Hayward Sports Illustrated
Yeah,
edition. Yes.
now CL, JC Hayward, she would kill it. She would kill it because she's got that confidence that just exudes. So yeah, it is time for that. It's time for all of those ladies of that generation to come on out and do it.
Don't be scared. Don't be scared.
Speaking of that, Kelly Clarkson has recently received a lot of backlash for, and admitting is a bad word, but for coming out and saying, yeah, she used a weight loss drug to help in her.
Kelly Clarkson?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Used a weight loss drug to help in her really dramatic weight loss. She looks beautiful. She looked beautiful before. When I saw her before, though, I thought, okay, because I know that she had struggled with the industry trying to make her fit into a certain body type. And when I saw her on her show and just killing it, I'm like, I felt like she's comfortable in the skin that she is in, and I'm sure that she is. But she had said originally that she lost the weight with her doctor's help and basically doing it the old-fashioned way. And so when she came out and said she actually did a weight loss drug, people were mad. They felt betrayed.
That's stupid. That's stupid.
Well,
that's stupid because this is what people don't understand. Like nowadays, so Ozempic and it's now administered at doctors' offices. So this isn't Weight Watchers uses Ozempic now too. But what people don't really understand when you're talking about weight, right? And you're getting older, this is a real health issue. This is a real health issue that has you at an increased risk for diabetes. Most overweight people are usually pre-diabetic and usually have hypertension issues, right? So this drug, Ozempic, especially if you are pre-diabetic.
She's not on Ozempic
or diabetic.
Those weight loss drugs.
Yes, it's the cadre. It's like three main things. But whatever, the reason doctors are excited about it is because it's not like basically they like the effects that it has on your pancreas, which is a big factor when you have diabetes or pre-diabetes. So that's why the medical field actually is welcoming some of these drugs because of the effects and helping to treat those who suffer from diabetes and pre-diabetes. And again, most people who are obese usually are pre-diabetic or diabetic.
So that notwithstanding, the issue here, though, is she didn't come out and say that in the beginning. So the question is,
it's nobody's business,
right? So should she have come out and said noticing
I'm working
a
with my
dramatic
doctor
weight
now.
loss?
I'm working with my doctor on my weight loss. So you say that
Working
now,
with my doctor on my weight loss.
That's all I got to say.
Yeah. So
because it's just like the.
Well, that's why they're not mad because she used it. But one of the comments was like, "You're making regular people feel bad about themselves."
No, I can't make you feel. I can't make you feel any way about yourself.
No, but babe, no. When you see like the celebrities, right, and you see because we see them all the time. So when you watch Kelly Clarkson in January, and you vibe with Kelly Clarkson because we love Kelly Clarkson, and we do. And then you see Kelly Clarkson in May, and she's got this like really, I don't know how much weight she lost, but it's a pretty dramatic weight loss. And again, she looks gorgeous, then and now. But when you see her now, she fits that mold of like, a certain body type. And if you're a regular person trying to lose weight and you see that, and she says, I just did it with my doctor. And you say, well, what's wrong with me? Like, I'm trying to do that too. Then, no, I hear what you're saying.
No,
but
what I
am saying is the human part. I'm not saying go on there and blast her. You made us feel bad. But there is something. And when I look at celebrities too, my wish is like, I wish I had a personal chef, and I wish I had this and that. And the bottom line is for, folk we do have to do it unless you want to do that. And so, I get it. I'm not going to say like, no, they shouldn't do it. I understand it because we're all only humans. So if you
as a fat person, you're not fat. As a fat person, let me say this. If you're a fat ass, needs to do what you need to do. It's not my job. I'm not responsible for your fat butt. You know what I'm saying? I sent people feel the same way about the weight loss surgery. We had friends that told me that. Don't do that, Mark. Da 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 da. No, I did it. I needed to. For me, I'm not you. You're not my boss.
But if you came on TV and said, "Yo, look what I did it," then you have another person who is struggling.
We'll struggle on.
Okay.
It's like we are grown-ups. What are you, 7? We're grown-ups. That's my problem with people these days. This is the softest generation ever. My God. Like everyone's so like, what about me? You got to figure it out. You know what I mean? Like you said, if we're famous, we got chefs that could make the exact food I need to eat, and I can sleep because I make enough money. They have all these advantages, and it's their job. That's the other part. It's their job to do that. It's not the average person. It's not your job. You go do your work. This person's job is to look good on TV, right? And get your health under control because that's your money maker.
Well, in that same vein, and before we move on, Oprah Winfrey came out at the same time and said that she's making headlines. She said she regrets promoting toxic weight loss culture through the years. So she says for her part, I like that. I like that she's come out and said that, though her journey has been a little bit more transparent, back and forth. Recently, she kind of got in the same hot water.
Well, because people don't know what they're talking about. They said about Oprah, I see why she got dropped from Weight Watchers because she used a weight loss drug. People have no idea what really is going on. They didn't know that weight loss companies were employing these weight loss drugs. That's the next step. And Weight Watchers is definitely one of those. And so they were wrong in that she didn't step down because she used the drug and they don't use it at Weight Watchers. In fact, they wanted her to stay because they are now rolling out the weight loss drugs. And who better to be your spokesman than Oprah, right? Who was a board member or whatever, partial owner. But we are the celebrity piece and people feeling a certain way. I mean, we got to snap out of it. Like you say, it's almost like this culture with Instagram. I realize it's created these young people who look at a pro football player, basketball player, entertainer who's worth millions of dollars. I thought about it was the watch game. The Rolex forever has been the standard, right? So now it's not. Now it's I know you know what it is, Raymond. What is it called? The Patek, whatever it's called.
Elite.
So right. So you're talking about a watch that's what, 6 figures? I mean, come on now. You work at the post office.
When people don't even wear watches anymore. Because they get their phones for time.
But kids are trying to get them. Kids are trying to get them because they saw it on Instagram.
Yeah.
And the people they admire have them. But the people they have,
let it out.
They're millionaires.
Let all that, unfurl that brow. Let all that anger out.
They're making me mad. Why? What am I supposed to do? Go get you some Ozempic then. Ask your doctor. If you have a doctor, most people don't even have doctors. That's the other part. Everybody's trying to lose weight.
That's what
they don't even have a doctor. Get a damn doctor.
Okay, some people can't get a doctor.
And some people have insurance. Some millions are watching our show right now. Have insurance. Have you taken advantage of your annual physical, chat? Have you taken advantage of your annual eyeglasses, chat? Do you have your kids take advantage?
You're saying?
This is the chat, babe. The people.
Oh.
Chat, are you taking advantage of what you're paying for? Most of the time, I was looking at mine the other day, we do not use these things we have and take advantage of them, right? And when you don't have them, I was out without insurance for a minute. And, I couldn't afford to go to the doctor. And so now that I have insurance, I'm excited. But I was taking it for granted because I always had it. I was like always rolling on Allison's insurance. And they were like, you get your own. But yeah, so I'm sorry if you were mad about Ozempic and you pouting. I'm sorry I went off on y'all. Obviously, it's a touchy subject for me.
Yeah, but you were always you took people along on your weight loss journey. You had the whole reinventing Marc Clarke, and then when you chose to get weight loss surgery, you were transparent with that. Now, do you owe that to anybody? No. But does it help somebody who's going to look at you the next day and see that this weight is coming off, I think it does help. Do you have a platform to help? Yeah. So that's
and
where I'm
also
coming
it's my
from.
brand. It's my brand. I'm a tell everything to the detriment of the family. No, I tell everything. That's my brand. I'm an open book, right?
And that's
When
what
it comes-
okay, but wait a minute, stop. Oprah Winfrey, who's a bigger open book than Oprah?
Yeah.
Kelly Clarkson, who is a more relatable, that's my girl, than Kelly Clarkson. So
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. When they, and I'm not taking an opposite position on this. I'm just saying I understand that point of view. I would never in my life will I ever go on anybody's social media and say something negative to you about something, my opinion on what you did or what you said. I'm not doing that.
And people do,
However,
that's my beef.
but that's where we are.
That's my
That's
beef.
social media.
Everybody's
That's social
talking
media.
about, everybody got to take on your life. You know what I mean? It's like,
yeah. Well, don't be on it then.
And it's like,
don't be on social media then, because
well,
that's what they do.
Well, right, and when they do,
you got somebody calling Anita Baker.
And when they do, that's
bald
why
headed ass, like, because it's social media and people feel like they're protected behind these whatever, and I think you start to forget. But yeah. So anyway, she's facing backlash. Oprah Winfrey's coming out saying,
and we don't
she's
know
sorry
why
for her part of promoting this yo-yo back and forth, whatever. But I guess she was trying to be transparent. So yeah.
It's and you can't win. You can't win. Everybody's got a microphone now. What else you got?
That's it. I've been rolling with my topics, like 5 of them. Those are things that got me hot today.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Let's see. Where's Carl? Carl's going to check in. Oh, he won't make it at home in time. Oh, Carl's not going to make it. Carl with the K is not going to join us tonight.
Okay.
But I do have some. He sent us some trivia anyway, though.
Oh, all right.
So let's talk briefly about this election. Interesting Maryland election.
Mm-hmm.
Some interesting things for me. So in Baltimore, Brandon Scott, the incumbent, won again.
Yeah.
In a very close battle with former Mayor Sheila Dixon. It was very interesting. I think it's very interesting. I think Brandon was buoyed by the tragedies that happened with the bridge. I think the nation and even locally, he handled that very well.
Mm-hmm.
I think many people felt like he's moving in the right direction, and why switch up now in the middle of the race? I think the issues that Baltimore faces, just like all major cities, you have an increase in juvenile crime across the country.
That's what we need to talk about. What is going on?
But here's my thing about
what's going on, family, with
the
this
conversation is
juvenile crime.
Working in Baltimore, coming to Baltimore in 1999, right? So all major cities have this issue. What's the issue? The issue is
Baltimore crime is actually down more so than DC.
Yeah, well, yeah, but they're all the major cities. It's like the same issues, right? You have young people who were deserted without a community. In most major cities, that's a major challenge, right? And so now what you're seeing is the byproduct of that. I used to always say back in the day when I was on the radio in Baltimore, grandma on heroin, mama on crack.
Mm.
These are the children. Many of them are the crack babies. These are the children of the crack babies. And what do we expect? If you have places where kids don't have the basics, strong education, public school system, safe housing, they live in food deserts. They're not protected. We always talk about, that's a big word these days. I don't feel protected. What about our kids, man? These kids have been unprotected for generations, and now we're seeing the ramifications of that. Also, people always talk, when they took they put the Bible out of school. Well, the Bible out of school thing is interesting. What kind of happened, I think, a shift for the Black community is, even back in the day, the thugs went to school. Big Mama made you go to church, right? I think we're looking at a generation that did not have church. Many don't have church in their life. Especially in the Black community, that was always a big factor. Even the worst neighborhood, a lot of times people still went to church on Sundays. People don't go to church on Sundays. So what do we expect if you take a kid and give them no support, no proper education, no proper food, and no spiritual guidance.
And
what are we stuck with?
Fahim is saying that
yes.
Fahim is also saying,
yes.
and we talk about this all the time. We just watched
my God. Perfect, Fahim. Right on time. Go, babe.
We just watched the Freaknik documentary, right?
Woo! Okay.
And
Freaknik.
Mm-hmm.
Babe, go ahead. Freaknik. We're going in, y'all, because this. I don't think you were in upstate New York with the Luke thing. I think, right?
Yeah, I was in upstate New York in '93. But coming back to that, Fahim's comment was the music has had a significant impact, and I think we need to talk about that. I think that. Yes. You know, when people were talking about like hip hop back in the day, it kind of felt like, and I don't know whether because the music was different back then, like when we were coming up and when hip hop first sort of started to make its emergence, and then it's sort of how it's morphed today. But I'm gonna say it. My unpopular take, Fahim, I'm with you. I think the music industry and pop culture, what's going on right now, and this TikTok world that we're living in,
by design.
I think it's definitely adding to it, because I feel like there's so many stories of people, my mother was addicted, or we hear these stories all the time, or my dad wasn't around, they were here, there, or somewhere that they couldn't be a parent, and kids find it. It's in there somewhere. Is it at school? Is it an extended relative? And they make it out. I don't know what is going on now. It seems like we literally did 2 stories this week. One kid accidentally shot himself with his gun. And we just did it like a normal script with his gun. Not sure if charges are pending yet. He's 12. Another kid is 15 with a gun, shot himself accidentally. Both lived. But where are these guns coming from? Well, when you do have the music and the culture that is maddening, because it seems to promote this type of violence.
Don't seem to, it does.
And when I say this, so you talking about don't be, let these celebrities do what they want to do. And then on another hand, it's like, well, just because like the baby is talking about this, these kids shouldn't emulate that. Okay. All right. But yeah, I think that the culture, I think everything is crumbled around, and as adults, we let it happen.
Yeah.
The radio stations let it happen.
Oh yeah. I blame radio. Black radio sold it.
Let it happen. And so it's almost like, how do you get the genie back in the bottle? And I was saying to you earlier, the only thing I'm encouraged about is it seems like, when I was coming up, we were listening to like jazz cuts on HUR, and that was the beat. Like when driving through Haynes Point or Rock Creek Park, that's what we had on R&B, right? And so since that's virtually non-existent anymore, I'm prayerful that in the next couple of years or 20 years or whatever, this sort of really, this music that we're listening to now will also be out of style. I don't know where it goes to from here, but well, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Where's Boys to Men? They're not around anymore, but they seem so prominent is what I'm saying.
Yes.
But the trends change. So I'm hoping that somebody is conscious enough to say, we gotta roll this thing back.
And that's where
I think it has a lot to do with it. We're talking about what's going on with our youth right now, if you want to chime in.
This is so watching the Freaknik thing was interesting, because Freaknik to me was a great microcosm of kind of how our culture got co-opted. And what do I mean by this? Like you said, you grew up in Washington, D.C., home of WHUR, home of the album cut, home of the jazz album cut. Y'all generation knew jazz album cuts. Y'all knew Phyllis Hyman album cuts.
Angie Bofield,
Flame of Love, Turn It Up.
Al Jarreau.
Why? Because
Michael Franks.
WHUR
David Sanborn
was a huge player in the community, and it was like it was your part of your life. So I was in radio when this battle started happening with hip hop. I was in radio when the game changed, right? So when hip hop was introduced, it was only at night, and it wasn't played all day, and they call that day parting. They played at a certain time. Now with the documentary made me think about, babe,
Freaknik, the documentary.
The Freaknik
on Hulu.
When that Miami Luke bass sound came, I I think our viewers were a certain age. You remember this. You said you were in upstate New York. We don't really realize on the plus side, what he was fighting for was for free speech, right? Luke basically said, as an American, I have the right to say whatever I want to say, as freaky as it is. Number one. The other challenge was it was almost sampling, because he was taking, they basically ruled that if it's a parody song, the rules are different when it's a parody song versus a real song. So it was a couple of battles going on. But the thing that was going on, that when I saw it impact Freaknik, that was going on across the country with this Luke thing, was when Luke, I was in St. Louis at the time, Luke coming to St. Louis, Luke coming to Chicago, Luke coming to wherever, was bringing the music and bringing a bunch of big booty naked women. And that was not how it used to be.
And right? for me, when he said, okay, because let's be honest, like the beats were the jam. Like if they put on like, come on, bang, 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 bang. I mean, you just
look at that girl with the Daisy Dukes on. Right. I want you to pop that, pop that.
But the issue is when he said it, and if you watch this Freaknik documentary, the way he said it made me want to punch him in the throat, because he goes, it was called Freaknik. Somebody had to bring the freak. And then he did the little smile. It started the downfall of freak. It started the downfall of Freaknik, just because of the behaviors. And you brought in like different, because where it started and the evolution of it was just so interesting. And like you said, a microcosm of society and what's going on, I think, in especially in our community, right? But started by this group of DC college students at the AUC. So that's the Atlanta University Center, right? So that's Spelman, Morehouse, Clark, Morris Brown, those schools down there. And it was just an alternative spring break type of thing. It was literally feel good music in the park, just getting together. And it grew into something. And then at the end, it was just, at the end of it, it is heartbreaking, because you see the how the degradation of the women there, and some of there was a couple of straight up rapes that happened there. And it's just, and that mob mentality, but it also talked about how the city of Atlanta, here comes the Olympics. And so the city of Atlanta, like, literally blocked off the exits from their, whatever their beltway system is. So you were stuck in this bowl, of course, getting angry because of your situation, you not being able to get to your homes or get here and there. And that's when really it just imploded. So I think it speaks to the fact that there was a large group, and let's be honest, because they talked about it, of Black people in a major city shutting down, like, the businesses. They said they couldn't operate and all this kind of stuff. And so, yeah, they took it away. And I think that time is gone, but I think it's also gone because we've seen a shift in the type of music. Somebody in the chat said, the songs that we're saying, it's like I believe in right. And I believe in positive food for the brain. Right. So if you're feeding yourself, and this is whatever, got my gun, got my hoes, gonna kill. If that's what you're saying all the time, right? Yeah. And that's what it is, and you're living up to it. But these celebrities aren't necessarily doing it, but they're leaving these kids who think this is real.
Oh, they got and so Luke ushered in that whole thing.
And I think Luke now, where's Luke? Like, Luke is looking like Unc right now. Like, he is,
no, he's just 60 years old now. Yeah,
right. But it's almost like, is he looking at it like, man, this out of control?
Well, okay. I think, again, we were there when it happened, in radio. And then I think sadly, I think the prison system co-opted hip hop and Black music and turned it into propaganda, negative propaganda used to send Black kids to jail. And I think that's where we are.
Okay. So here's the question. We know the issue.
I think,
how do we turn it around? What is the responsibility? Is it on us to try to help to turn around? What needs to happen? How do we shut it down? Is it possible?
Very few people.
Is it possible?
Very few people, just like in every system we have working against us, very few people are willing to be honest and willing to, so like in the music industry, when you talk about this in the music industry, it recently happened. The gatekeepers. So what happens is, just like in politics everywhere. A group of people get rich, right?
Yeah.
So when that thing, politics, music, media, whatever it is, when that thing took you from a non-factor and made you a player, it's hard for you to be honest about it and be objective about it. You know, the best interview I think that represents the problem is Leor Cohen was on the Breakfast Show with Charlemagne, right? And they asked him basically, because the you know that what I just said was the knock is that record companies almost make you talk about negative things because it sells, and you know at the end of the day, others say it sells and also sends people to jail. So when he was asked about it on the show, he basically said basically like he didn't deny it. He was almost like, what do you want me to do? That kind of arrogance. Like, what do you want me to do? So I'm telling you that your music is destroying young Black people, and your answer is, what do you want me to do? And nobody was outraged. They didn't burn the station down. They didn't protest. That's the problem. Where's their outrage?
So that person is what, a creator?
He's over. Right. Yeah, Def Jam. Yeah, he's over. He's one of the gatekeepers of the whole industry.
Yeah.
And so where's the outrage, Black people? Where's outrage on anything? The schools are terrible. The neighborhoods are terrible. The music's terrible. I don't see protests outside radio stations. I never forget.
I think that there used to be. Did people just? I mean, did it just get too
because
tired? I mean, there used to be, and they tried to stem the tide of it.
Well,
and
because
so
you feel like you can't win, and that's what happens. I mean, I never forget. I'm in the car. The girls are little. The song comes on. I need a daddy. Little kid voice, little girl voice. I need a daddy. I need a daddy to come rain down on me. It was a stripper song.
Mm.
And I just remember the girls were little, and I called my friend Sophia Robb, and I was like, man, I think I teared up even. I was like, man, this is effed up. I mean, what are we talking about? And like you say, the difference was it used to be where the hip hop was at night, which I don't know if that's even better for the kids. Then they started playing it all day. So now it's played. It's like all this ratchet music is played all the time now. You can't escape it. It's not day party anymore. It used to be you had to do it after sundown, after 10 o'clock.
Okay, so you're a radio pro. Will they ever take it back?
No, radio's dead, and the music industry is.
Okay, well, I'm hoping
is a mosh pit.
Just like we
don't negative music.
Just like we don't turn on the radio and hear groups like the Spinners anymore. I'm hoping one day it will go out. Somebody, I don't know what it is, but I definitely think so. Thank you for that comment. That what we're seeing as far as pop culture these days, and
pop culture is pretty much propaganda. It's propaganda. Yeah. I told you the other day I had a theory. I was looking at what's the girl's name, Sexy Red, right? I was like, you know what? They have figured out a formula. The athletes and the entertainers, right? They figured out a formula. It's probably 2 million, 3 million, 4 million, starting around there, where how do we keep this negative information going and in front of our kids? Well, we'll pay blank person this much money, and on Instagram, this person becomes the symbol of that thing we're trying to push out there. And the person doesn't know it. They're just being themselves. They just have been co-opted and don't even know it. So the other day when Sexy Red went out on that country music artist, he's performing. And so then Sexy Red comes out and she's, just had a baby. And so she twerks on stage for the country audience. So what do we think that impact was? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. No lyrics, just
well, I think
come out there.
Well, I think for years you've had like because when you said that, I thought about like the go-go dancers from the 60s, right? They came out and just dancing next to Tom Jones for no damn reason. Like, yeah. So I think that this is what it is. Now, what I hate is that, some of the audience is going to look at that and then expect, a 17-year-old kid just trying to go to school, get an education, to be able to like, throw that thing back at any moment, because it's hard not to see, if you're not familiar with the culture or whatever, it's hard not to see, in this case, all Black women as being able to just at any point, just
what she did in that moment was
Right.
she played into the stereotype of those people of what they felt about what Black women are.
Yeah,
And
I think
that's
that,
why she's getting paid these days.
And I think though that if you're sitting there in that audience, then you just feel like it's a music venue, so you might be hype about it, like and like the cross culture there, because there's been all the talk about like some Black country artists not feeling necessarily welcome in that genre. So if you're an audience member, then you don't really want to be like, oh my God. But yeah, it doesn't do anything to further. It doesn't do anything to further our unity in the long run, in my opinion. What's CL talking about?
CL, the only problem is the industry is set up for the opposite of this. So the industry is set up
Decency
the opposite
tax.
way. That's the first problem. We feel like people at the top are trying to fix something. They're not. They're the ones who are tearing it down. Yeah. It's like, that's the problem. Like, we think there's a people, they're not. The system is not set up. The system is set up the opposite way. So and I think that's what the young people are kind of on. I think they learned it before us. We were conditioned a certain way. It's almost like, that's not American.
I think that bottom line, before we close this topic out, is I just feel like, I feel sad for what's going on with this generation. Every time we report on a young person who is the victim of gun violence in DC, or a perpetrator of gun violence in DC, it just, my heart breaks a little bit more, because I just wonder what can be done. Then I also wonder where all these damn guns even coming from in the first place. How does everybody have a gun? And it's almost like a self-fulfilling prophecy of what meaning that the 1%, the people who want to see us divided, what they wanted for the Black community ever since Reconstruction, ever since they pulled the plug on Reconstruction. And we're just now feeding into that all these years later. So I don't know what it is. I don't know. I'm just hoping maybe it has to go all the way to rock bottom. I don't know what that looks like. Maybe, this crime has to seep into these neighborhoods where people say, and we say it all the time, a typically quiet neighborhood where we don't really see this much violence. Like, does it take going into these neighborhoods and shaking it up? I hope not. I'm not saying that, but what I am saying is some people live in a bubble, and then some people seem to be trapped in a bubble. And so,
and then, okay, so what are our kids doing? Well, they're playing games, shooting people every day. That's what they're doing.
Let's talk about that.
They're playing games, shooting everybody.
We had that Grand Theft Auto on our thing. When I saw that, y'all, I'm serious. Now, I know I'm sounding like every day of my 58 years, but I was mortified. People getting thrown out of the car. You got like
prostitutes,
right?
Getting shot,
and then just
robbing people.
And nobody necessarily dies. You just get back up and get in the car and whatever. And so
war games and that's what all kids do.
To what end?
The
My
kids
God,
that
like
are shooting,
to what end?
The active shooters are playing war games all day, and then everybody else is playing Grand Theft Auto all day. Again, parents sleep at the wheel. We buying our kids these games. Why? And then
we even had it. Like, it was
the system.
Right.
Where's the Congress on regulating gaming? Where's Congress on? I don't see any complaints about that. They come after, they regulate quote unquote hip hop, but what about gaming? Gaming is right. They don't do that either. Gaming is the propaganda. Let me see. It's very realistic. It's almost like I'm shooting a real gun. My next step is what? To get a real gun. These kids have no social skills. All they do is sit and play games for hours daily. Not just the kids, grown-ups too. And then, like you said, lastly, in New York, I never forget it. And, I am a conspiracy guy, sadly. I cannot think of his name, prosecutor I was talking to. I never heard this before in my life. And I was like, so this brother in New York I think he was a, what do you call him? Anyway, I forgot his title, right? He told me what I'm doing. This is what's going to happen. The gun pipeline to cities. This was specifically New York. He said, there's a Southern gun pipeline I'm shutting down, right? I'd never heard this before, ever or since. A Southern gun pipeline.
Yeah.
Everyone always says, where do they get these guns from? These people show up, they come from the South, they sell these guns in the hood and at trade shows. This guy was on the that original case of the boys in New York.
The Wilding case.
No, yeah, the
Central Park.
Central Park said
Yeah.
he was a young lawyer then.
Okay.
So at this time he was in his early 40s, right? This is when I worked in New York, like 2017. He was the first person that I heard talk about this, and of course, months later he died of cancer.
Yeah.
And you're like,
they don't want to shut it down. There it is. They don't want to shut it down.
Where are these guns coming from?
Yeah.
You never hear that talked about? I'm like, I never heard that on the news.
And I don't know to what end. I always think about it because do you think that you're immune like to the people who turn their backs or the people who are engineering that, like, because these guns just don't appear. I'm sorry. Like, I am, I watch the conspiracies and I find them interesting. I'm not all in like you are on some of them, but I will say this: where the hell are the guns coming from? And it's just like, where did the drugs come from? Where are the guns coming from? And Brandy, I see you. So we're talking about the bubble, right? So out in St. Mary's County, like not necessarily in like a close-in city area and all that. She was saying that there was a shooting in an Applebee's. Like somebody was just killed at the MGM National Harbor parking lot over an argument. So anyway, we don't want to, this is like, we sometimes we talk about like lighthearted things and then there is always one person, you need to talk about this, and we're talking about it. We care about it. We are looking for the solutions to it. We do not believe that we are immune just because, we don't hear the gunshots at night, like some of our neighbors have to hear in some of our communities. But, it matters. It matters to us. And I don't know what the solution is, but I love all the conversation that we've been having in the chat, and we appreciate it. But we're all, maybe just this positive thought can try to like start this way, because I do believe that prayer and positive thought does change things, but it's got to be like an army. It's got to be like when that young man had that damn heart attack on the football field and everybody in the world was praying for him. Right. And he was like, I believe that all that positivity helped me. What was his name? Helped me,
baby.
Okay. So anyway, let's just leave it there. Let's just think about what we can do. If it is like each one try to grab somebody, like we see all of you out there, the peacekeepers, the folks in there trying to make a difference, and hopefully you reach somebody. And back to the first thing we talked about, was that teacher who was having those girls like unbraid his hair, was he just trying to make a connection and trying to have like a human interaction with a young person to let them know that they're seen and they're valued? So yeah,
babe, we did not talk about the man and the bear.
Oh, the man and the bear. Okay, let's leave him with that because that's pretty hilarious.
I'm curious.
Also, there was something I wanted to. And before we talk about that and end today, also we were talking about these the Maryland primaries. Maryland and West Virginia had their primaries, and I think DC is up next, I think, and then Virginia. But Angela Alsobrooks versus David Trone, both running for the seat left vacant by Senator Ben Cardin, longtime senator in the state of Maryland. And what is interesting in this thing is the money spent. Trone spent his money. He spent almost like $60 million.
Lord Jesus.
And we were running the ads all the time. And it was almost like, where's Alsobrooks ads, like what's going on? And she supposedly spent like right under $8 million from campaign funds or fundraising or whatever. So at the end of the day, like we talked about the 1%, like pulling the strings and making it happen, sometimes in negative ways. I have nothing against David Trone. I like his background, his message, and what he's hoping to do for the people of Maryland. But at the end of the day, money did not buy that. Buy that position. Yeah. And it's encouraging for me to see that that at the end of the day, the one with the deepest pockets didn't win out. I think they're both good for Maryland, so we'll see. And in November they go up against Larry Hogan, who is a phenom in his own right, who won as a Republican as the governor's.
The politicians are
governorship in a blue state, being a Republican. So yeah. I like him too.
the politicians are interesting. I was surprised by some of the black women who did not rock with Brooks, who had rocked with her in the past. I was surprised about that. Also, it was an interesting case study. When you have the Munty, you can buy everybody. It's like, the Munty, but you can buy everybody, but you can't buy everybody. It was interesting because I guess in a parallel situation, Sheila Dixon had the backing of my employer in Baltimore, and she didn't win.
Yeah,
and so it's interesting.
I think the good thing is that speaks to we are still up here. We are still making our decisions and making those real choices when it matters versus either propaganda or the deluge of ads, which is what we saw with Trump. But go ahead.
It was so interesting. I think also Brooks, again, being in the spotlight and being a player for so long, it was interesting to see like some of the allies, former allies who did not go with her. And that's also surprising. That was surprising, to be honest. And so the after effects will be interesting.
And it seemed like a lot of those folks were from the county. So we're talking about the state's attorney. We also saw a prominent school board member and a council member. So those were hyper local. But now when you put it on a bigger scale, like so it is interesting. In the county, what's the vibe on my happen to be my soror Angela Alsobrooks versus the state? But I also think this is it. Okay. I also think that Angela Alsobrooks, when you went to vote in Maryland, did y'all notice this? Angela's name was the first one, like Alsobrooks, alphabetical. It was the first one. You had to go to the second page, and it was almost like Trone was almost like the last person to vote for. So I wonder if the position on the physical ballot had anything to do with it too, because we're impatient. We're just like, okay, well, I guess he dropped out. Okay, let me just go ahead and vote for this person that I know. Not taking anything away, but I'm just saying, did it have anything to do with that? Okay, now let's.
And I liked her commercial too. I love that.
Let's
yellow,
be honest.
Remember that yellow?
She had the governor. She had the establishment in the state of Maryland. So she had the Steny Hoyers. She had the Barbara Mikulski back in the day. She had Governor Wes Moore.
And she had the track record.
And
we know her. We know her parents.
So when you. Well, the voters ain't gonna know her parents.
We know her parents.
So I think she had the establishment in the state of Maryland versus more local leaders in Prince George's County coming out with the negative ad. Let's be honest, it was a negative ad. So all right, okay, that's it. That's enough serious talk. My brain is on fire right now.
Let's end with this. Let me just say this, babe.
Let's end with this.
Let me say this, babe.
Because it's an hour, and I said I did not want to be on here for no hour because people don't care about us for an hour.
Yes, they do. The lip color's popping, babe.
Thank you. Let's end with this.
What?
Bear versus man.
Oh yeah, Lord Jesus.
And our use of ginkgo biloba for brain supplements.
So
if there's a brain supplement company,
if there's a snarky company, you'd be the president, okay?
Yes, I would be.
So anyway,
do you want to fight? Wait a minute, hold up. Do you want to fight?
Did you do this on your show?
Wait a minute, hold up. Do you want to fight?
I do not. I don't fight women.
Okay. All right, go ahead.
Did you do this on your show?
Us on task.
Did you do this on your show?
What?
The bear versus man thing. So for those who don't know, I too am on television like my wife. And so on Be More Lifestyle, which is a lifestyle show, this is one of the topics in our chat segment. They did this survey, and basically they asked women, would you prefer to be alone in the wilderness with a man that you don't know or a bear? And the women picked a bear.
Yeah.
And I know it. So I have
Sad
three daughters.
State of affairs.
3 daughters and Allison. And I knew Allison was going to say a man. But what it hit me was, why does Allison feel this way? I think because you grew up with a trusted man in your life. I think that's a big factor. And I think your experiences with men and dating and stuff you didn't have the terrified.
They were positive, yeah.
And I think that's a big factor because I think the answer.
And I also haven't been, I've been blessed to not go through any trauma at the hands of men.
Right. So because to me as a guy, a big guy, the size of a bear, it almost is like, what? Women are just picking the bear. And in how my mind works is bear equals certain death. Man, if he's a jerk or a murderer, a possibility, but if you're with a bear, you're gonna get killed by a bear.
Mm-hmm.
But it just blew me away that women are like, I'll take the bear because these sketchy. And I think if that's how most women feel, we need to have a conversation, y'all.
Weigh in before we go, because I'm so interested to see. Babe, can you advance the comments? I'm so interested to see. The question is this: if you had to be abandoned in the woods, would you rather be abandoned in the woods with a man who you don't know or a bear? That's the question. And just to recap, if you're just joining us, Mark said most people that were in the studio at the time that they talked about this said the bear. I definitely said the man. Our own kids said the bear, I think. And I'm seeing now, like, our daughters are at the age where they could really be in serious relationships. You know what I mean? And I talk to younger people that I work with and people my age that are out there dating. And I had a young lady just say, I'm starting to think that men just aren't good people. And it's heartbreaking, because what are we really talking about? I have faith that there are still good men out there. And at the end of the day, if I'm in the woods or abandoned somewhere, I can also run and hide from a man if he turns out to be bad. But if he turns out to be good, then hey, how you doing? We're in the woods here together, baby. That's me and you, period. Okay. So maybe you could do some hunting for some fish. I can also reach for some fruit and make a little palette for us, and maybe we could have a romantic dinner when we get to know each other. You cannot do that with a bear. And I'm just gonna be playing. Let's think about men in a better way.
But
men do better.
I was thinking I want to have a conference.
Do better, men.
I need to have a conversation. Uncle Mark needs to have a conversation with men, I think, because women
what is the
are
deal?
scared.
I'm hearing about ghosting. Like, these men out here ghosting people, not going back, not following through with plans, just out for the cheeks. They don't want to whatever. I'm not saying everything is going to be a serious relationship, but not even trying to get to know people, trying to do these shortcuts. So yeah, I'm hearing all this and I get it. And I'm glad that I'm not in the dating world right now. But at the end of the day, I would have to, if the choice, and I think most women would do it too. At the end of the day, you're not going to be with no grizzly bear.
Beverly said, man, but can I have my...
Yes, girl.
Yes, you can have a weapon.
Yeah, you can have a weapon and you'd be...
I think it speaks to the state.
Beverly, man, I'm with you.
I think it does speak to the state of interpersonal relationships with men and women, which is bad. And I talked to a friend today, an associate today, and I know one of the reasons, because I knew, and I was saying having a conference with guys, because here's the part about the guys that is frustrating for me.
Man, for you too, Robin. Okay.
Like you said, those cheeks, guys my age who still, like you said, these dating apps and stuff, that are really just pursuing the cheeks. It just kills me. Like, okay, now, bruh, you got daughters and you damn near 70 years old. You can't, you know how this thing works, like playing with a woman's emotions, and I'm just so blown away by that. And so, guys,
I'm blown away that there are men out here just looking for sex at 70 years old. Like, yeah. What kind of, you talk about weight loss drugs? What we talking about here? Like, what's going on? So, okay.
Why are you looking at me, babe?
I'm just asking the question. Yeah. So I think we're at a weird point in society. And speaking of that,
nice segue. Speaking of weird points.
Speaking of weirdness in society, the White House just came out and said that Biden and Trump will have 2 debates leading into the November general election. So let's do our homework, everybody. And
wait, what's the memory drug? That was gonna be my joke, but I couldn't remember it.
Oh no, because I'm
AstraZeneca?
snarky when I say things.
What is it called?
I don't
know. Brought to you by AstraZeneca.
And no, that's not it. But okay. Anyways, all right.
You really do want spanking, don't you?
Yeah. Then who is going to give it to me? Okay. Anyway, y'all, we love you. And a lot of heavy topics today. And sometimes I wish we could just talk about,
it was interesting.
Fans going in on Anita Baker, but we got a lot going on in the world today. Y'all.
Interesting today, babe. People stayed around to listen to the conversation, but not as many people participated in the chat this time. People just at work. We were just
So
watching?
yeah, so we need to decide what we're gonna do with that, because I do love that, and I love all of the family that always is with us. You know, I can't do it without my sister Brandy. And there some other folks that I'm just seeing that are like becoming regulars with us on Wednesday that I love. But yeah, I guess to just keep the conversation rolling. I think that's the you let us know. But I think that's the wheelhouse.
Well, it was a joy as always. Have a blessed evening. Keisha, I see Keisha out there.
Yep, Keisha's there.
Keisha,
Yeah.
CL and family.
Wallace.
Fahim. Ray, Shaw, Michael.
A lot of good conversation, sustained conversation today. So yeah. And there's nothing wrong under a doctor's care. We talked also about the weight loss drugs and stuff like that. Make sure that you there are a lot of scams out there. Make sure that you do talk to your healthcare person about any sort of medication, right? Because at the end of the day, you just want to be around and you want to be healthy. So.
And again, to our Instagrammers.
And if you are a young producer looking to volunteer on the show, we need you.
To our Instagrammers, we are sorry. We cannot see I can't see your posts. Hold on, let me see. Let's see what's Instagram talking about real quick.
Okay. Thank y'all for joining in.
Okay, let's see what Instagram talking about. Oh. Maybe Instagram wasn't with us tonight.
Right. Producers, hit us up at iammedia66@gmail.com if you'd like to volunteer on the Allison and Marc podcast. And remember, Beverly, I said volunteer. Yeah, right. You know, because you know what it is. Beverly, you know what it is.
Beverly, don't encourage her.
Hi, Veronica. Yeah. All right. Hey, Keisha, you rolling with me at 4:25? I'll see you in the morning at 4:25 on WUSA 9, Channel 9.
That's right.
In Washington, D.C. And then
What's
check
the
out
color
Marc.
Tomorrow, babe?
Purple. Tomorrow's Purple Day. Check out Marc on Fox 45.
All right, family.
Bye.